What's up guys? In this video, I'm finally pulling back the curtains on what exactly is Project S2S. And we'll be going from character creation to your first adventure, what art style you want, as well as which of the 4 islands you'll be starting on. So the vision behind Project S2S is it's a text-based, multiplayer, social sandbox kind of hybrid where you and your friends can play together. And I want to make a huge emphasis on multiplayer because I personally have way more fun when I'm playing a game with my friends. So let's get right into it. But when you first log in, this is the screen that you'll see, Project S2S, working title. So we've got Start New Adventure. Let's actually go into settings and start the music going. There we go. So you've got the new adventure start. That'll be the last thing we go through here. Configure settings, control the music volume for the main menu, as well as the in-game voice narration that will be implemented. So if at 100%, this gives you a little sample using the mysterious voice that I chose to use.
Darkness.
Yeah, that's a little better. So, next new adventure. So this is where you choose where you want your whole playthrough to be a certain art style. So I've got everything from like an ink splash, kind of watercolor style, all the way to a 16-bit pixel style, to photorealism, as well as a few extra unique ones that I really liked. So you get a choice between 8 different styles, and one big thing that I want to be able to implement is have another button somewhere. If you like a certain artist's style, you can choose from their art style to play through this whole game as well. So I want to work with artists who are interested in showcasing their art style in my game. That hasn't been implemented, but that's definitely in the vision for the final product. Start with ink splash. It'll give you a confirmation of what the art style is that you just chose. So if you kind of see, you can zoom in a little bit and see, oh, I don't really like that. Now you can choose another. We'll try charcoal sketch, choose a different one. Medieval woodcut is kind of interesting. Graphic novel, kind of a comic book style, graphic novel style. Modern RPG is a little bit more realistic, themed around modern RPG art. Choose a different one. And then one of my favorites, 16-bit pixel. This one is a lot of fun. Kind of gives you that retro, nostalgic look of how old games used to look. So, and then photorealism, it's exactly what it sounds like. Everything is meant to look photorealistic. So, and then classic oil painting, just another unique art style to utilize. So we're just going to do ink splash for now from the style. The next window is your gender selection screen. So you have choice between male and female. There will be different attributes that you'll have from male versus female. Then you can enter your name. My general go-to is Swig. You'll see that a lot in my videos, but you can also randomize it. We got some female names you can choose from, but we're just going to go with male and then start with Swig. After you've chosen your name, chosen your gender, continue. The next screen, you get to describe what your character looks like. Describe the height, build, eye color, skin tone, hair, all of that. There's a little filter that it will go through to make sure that your character is human instead of something that's not. I might add other races. Next, you can click this button for a randomized description. A gnarled, tough man with ruddy skin and heavy-lidded pale blue eyes. His face is defined by a weathered, leathery complexion, complemented by a ragged, uneven beard. His hair, a pitch dark hue, hangs loose and unruly. We're going to keep this one. In the future, I want to be able to generate a visual of what your character is going to look like that will be using the art style that you chose earlier. And then eventually you can upload a reference and then you can generate a visual to show what your character is going to look like based off your reference or based off of the description that you are putting in. We're going to keep with this description though. Next, we click continue. It'll give you a confirmation of what your character is going to look like to make sure this is exactly what you want. If not, you can restart and go back and change the hair color, the eye color, what the hair looks like. You can edit this randomized one or you can completely delete it and then go back and do your own. We're just going to continue and finalize the character. Next, the island selection screen. This is really exciting. This is something that I really put a lot of time and effort thinking about. Each of these islands is going to be slightly different than the other and have different types of benefits that other islands won't. And you'll only interact with other players who are on your same island until further notice. We'll start with the Island of Nature. So this is for pragmatic players. Maybe it's your first playthrough or you're just looking for kind of a basic test of what this game is like. So it's more for a pragmatic playstyle, mastering the physical nature of the world that we're building. So for players who want to enjoy testing their strength through mastering the physical elements in hand-to-hand combat, the subterranean here is rich with exotic alloys of metals that can't be mined anywhere else. So it'll have unique metals that the other islands won't have. Next, the Isle of Faith. This is going to be a spiritual will, kind of a tactical playstyle based on magic. You'll be able to still have magic in this world and vice versa. You'll still be able to craft and master the elemental powers, but the Isle of Faith will be more focused on a tactical playstyle using magic. So for the player who seeks the divine magics to support and sustain their endeavors throughout their journey, the frontier is endowed with irregular species of wood that will aid any adventurer seeking answers to mystical secrets. Next, the Isle of Creation. This island I want to be dedicated for people who just want to build things and collect lots of resources and be creative with what they're doing and use their imagination to build different kinds of gear, structures. This is for aesthetic passion, the creative playstyle, for the players who want to test their creativity in their playstyle. This is for the player who delights in crafting ornate but effective wares and building soaring monuments and sturdiest of structures. The resources on this island are not the novelties that make the island unique, but the hands as the architects who carefully meld their findings into true masterpiece. Unlock the unique potential in each grain of wood, color of flower, and vein of ore. You can still do everything else in the other islands, but this will be a specific island where people can craft and be creative. And last but not least, the Isle of Law, organized playstyle. This one's the most unique in my opinion, based around organizational wisdom. For the player who tests the balance of order and chaos, this island is where fair leadership or tyrannical reign may prevail, noble delegation or political domination. Here, they may excel in establishing governance over their very own empire. Whether become a beggar or a king relies entirely on the relationship they choose to cultivate or neglect. This is a little bit different. The vision behind this island is for people who want to be very social and interact with different NPCs and different players in different ways. And the main goal for people who want it to play in this island is to do whatever they want in a social or political aspect. Like I said, you can still do the same thing on all of these other islands. This island will just help you specifically to go for that goal. The lore behind Project S2S is based around the specific attributes of power, will, passion, and wisdom. So after you've chosen which island you want to go to, you can begin journey, and this will take us to the intro of the game.
Darkness. For a moment, there is only a deafening, infinite sound. You feel your very essence, your soul, being sheared and thrown, like a fragile insect caught in a violent maelstrom of a cosmic storm. Then, absolute silence. Your first sensation is a coarse, crumbly texture on your cheek. That grainy feeling spreads like a slow, icy wave lapping on the shore, down your jaw, across your front, all the way to your bare feet. The frost nips at your toes, shocking your mind as you begin to wake. You're face down in the dirt. The frigid, wet smell of soil fills your lungs. You are cold, naked, and your mind is a confusing echo chamber, fragmented memories of a past life barely out of your mind's reach. Images flash behind your eyelids, the glory of conquest, the mysteries of other realms, and the joyful songs played and sung, accompanying each step you and your companions took on our journey to where we are now. But, where was I? Who was I before now?
All right, and there you have it. That's the rough draft for the introduction to Project S2S. The lore behind what is happening in the story right now is that you wake up, you have amnesia, and you're not sure where you came from, why you're there, and you have no idea what you're supposed to do. You're cold, and you're trying to figure out how to survive. So when you click this button, wake up, get right into figuring out the world and starting the tutorial to figure out what you're supposed to do, where you came from, and why you're even there in the first place. And the main goal will be figuring out how to stay warm. That is the beginning of Project S2S. If you guys want to be the first to access the information that I am releasing about Project S2S, I have a free membership where you can start. Patreon is where you want to go. Everybody on Patreon gets to see everything before all my other platforms. I have 2 tiers of paid memberships on my Patreon, the Spark and the Anvil, where specifically all of the Anvil membership subscriptions, 10% go directly to a mental health charity and suicide prevention. I'm shooting for a 2028 release for this game. Because this project is pretty huge, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of support from my viewers, it's going to require crowdfunding. I'll be running a 2027 crowdfunding campaign, and I'm currently searching for UI designers and artists to showcase their art styles in Project S2S. If you want to see this concept in practice, I have a mini-series going on right now that goes over the basic mechanics of what Project S2S is meant to be. It's called Into the Mist. missed, it'll be a continuing mini-series where the top commenter will continue the story. It's getting pretty interesting, so you won't want to miss out. You can find the mini-series by clicking on the related video for episode 1, or you can check my profile for all my other content. Remember, like, subscribe, send this to somebody who you think would be interested, and let's get to work. I'll see you guys in the Forge.